It's said that Martin Luther, exasperated by the commotion his 6 children made around the house, muttered, "Jesus said that to inherit the kingdom of heaven, we must become his little children." My God, do we have to become such idiots? Now, I don't know why he had such an outburst. By all accounts, he was a loving father. Was it Saturday night and he has to finish his Sunday sermon? Or maybe it was a situation much like ours, where the plague forced families to stay locked up indoors waiting out the epidemic. Regardless, reading between the lines, we can see some hint of frustration that the learned Dr. Luther, professor of theology, translator of the Bible, should have to set aside his learning to discover a new approach to faith. I came from the conservative evangelical world, where the Bible was seen more as a book of answers and questions, where certainty was paramount and we were trained to argue literally chapter and verse to have a ready answer to everything. But for all the richness of the scriptures, prepackaged answers could not tackle life's existential crises, such as struggling with same-sex attraction, or dealing with cancer, or how to maintain your faith in the isolation and uncertainty of a global pandemic. I'm reminded of something that a good friend told me many, many years ago, that the theologian will grasp a vision of heaven and then describe it like a scientist, with cold precision and certainty. But the artist will see heaven and describe it in poetry. In the end, it's a matter of perception. Lately, the challenges of life, of human and animal pain, of climate change, of the question of where is God in the midst of suffering, have led me to rethink my views of God and the world. Abandoning the celestial Superman, the bearded muscle daddy of Michelangelo's creation, a God above us who controls all things like marionettes, I've embraced what Pastor Craig once quoted as deep incarnation, the presence of God that infuses every atom, every cell of creation, and loves and suffers alongside the consequences of its freedom. Or in the most perfect Lutheran language, a God who is with, in, and under all things, who fills, accompanies, and upholds all trees, dogs, mountain ranges, slugs, and people. During this time when we've been physically separated from one another, from our singing, our hugs, our bread and wine, our community in communion, I've tried to see God in those things that I can access. In the purring of my cats, in the growing flowers and the bees that follow them, in the thunderstorms, in the spiders hiding in my bathroom, and the cicadas screaming throughout the city. In return, they have drawn me back to my books, book after Amazon delivery, to learn more, to re-enchant the world around me, and then hopefully to turn it into compassion for the earth, its creatures, and the suffering that prejudice, greed, and ignorance produce. I once read that the best person to take on a hike is not a tour guide or a scientist, but a child. A child's sense of wonder, curiosity, and questioning just might be the imaginative spark to reboot our quarantined faith, regardless of whether we have children or not. As these summer days get shorter and we find ourselves with more questions and few or no solutions. At least that's my hope, even as I hope that one day we can return to our sacred spaces to celebrate one another and the God who fills, accompanies, and upholds us.